Hey guys, it's Crystal from livingwithgastroparesis.com, and today I want to talk with you about traveling. I just got back from a wonderful week of fun and sun and relaxation. I had a very GP-friendly vacation. I know a lot of GPers are nervous about traveling and going on vacation with their family or their friends because they're not sure how they'll manage their symptoms away from home. So what I did is before I left and while I was gone, I recorded a series of video tips for you. How to pack, how to prepare, what to think about before you go, what to do while you're on vacation to make sure that you can manage your symptoms and have a good time. So, here we go. All right, hey guys, so I am getting ready for my upcoming trip and I want to share with you how I pack, how I prepare, the things that go through my head as I'm getting ready for a GP-friendly vacation. So the first thing that I usually think about when I'm going anywhere is food. I don't ever go anywhere without bringing my own food. I don't necessarily bring enough food for every single meal for the entire time I'm going to be gone. In a lot of cases that's not practical, it's not nearly as enjoyable, and it would probably preclude a lot of fresh foods, which we do want to include in our diet as much as possible. So what I do is I always bring food for travel day. Enough food for the entire travel day because airports and rest stops and whichever way you're getting to your destination, you're probably not going to find a lot of nutrient-rich, well-balanced, GP-friendly food. So maybe you could grab a 100-calorie pack and a ginger ale, and that would be technically GP friendly, but there's no nutrition there. That's not going to put you in a good, satisfied frame of mind, and it's just not the healthiest option. So you bring your food. For travel days, I largely rely on things like macro bars. So I am bringing an entire case of Protein Purity macro bars. These are formerly known as chocolate protein. I will eat these for probably a couple of my meals on the travel days on the airplane. So we're flying to Florida, and then from Florida we're getting on a cruise ship for a week to go around the Caribbean, and then we're flying back from Florida to where I live in New York State. So for travel days, I will rely a little bit more heavily on the food that I bring, and will probably eat a couple of macro bars. I will also use those during the vacation when I need a quick on-the-go kind of mini meal, when maybe we are off the ship, for example, and there's nothing GP friendly. If we're getting off the ship or if I'm going to some other destination where I know there really probably won't be food that I feel comfortable eating or that I can be sure is GP friendly or well tolerated, or we will be doing activities that I really want to make sure that I feel as good as possible and I can predict a little bit better how I feel, that's when I really rely on the food that I'm bringing. So I'm bringing a case of the Protein Purity macro bars. I will also be bringing Orgain, several Orgain. These I will use as more of a supplement, okay? So I don't actually bring these on travel days. If you need to, you can contact the TSA and get information about flying with Orgain, like bringing them on board with you for a medical necessity. I don't. What I usually do is I have a smoothie or an Orgain or juice or something first thing in the morning to kind of start my day out right and get my nutrients, and then I will eat things like macro bars and fruit purees. You may know them as baby food. I like to think of them as fruit puree along the way. Now, once I'm at my destination, these become more of a supplement. So I wouldn't really eat these like as a mini meal by themselves. Not very satisfying and not well balanced, right? So I would typically use these, and I will use these while I'm gone, mostly for breakfast. So I know where I'm going that I can get hot cereal every morning for breakfast, and I will add bananas or bananas and blueberries to that hot cereal along with some nut butter, and I'm bringing a variety of nut butters as well. And that will make the meal more complete. That will give me some healthy fat, a little bit of protein, some fruit. And so I have a GP-friendly meal that I'm using what I'm bringing to supplement what's available to me. Okay. Let's see. Oh, also these can help. I know that I will find bananas. Okay, so there's lots of buffets on a cruise ship, and they always have fruit, and they will have bananas. If I need a quick mini meal, I can add some nut butter to a banana, and I have a well-balanced, nourishing mini meal. I will also be bringing these Enjoy Life Sun Butter Crunch Bars. They're not very nutrient rich, but again, they'll be a little kind of in a pinch snack. I have also been known to have a packet of nut butter with a Sun Butter Crunch Bar in a pinch as a mini meal. So it's all about really thinking about how you can maximize your nutrition, keep that balance in your mini meals while you're traveling, using what's available to you, but then supplementing it, okay? And to know what's going to be available to you, you might have to do a little bit of research. So I've been on a cruise ship before. I've been on this particular line of cruise ships before, so I know what to expect. If I didn't, I would do a little research, okay? So I know that every morning I can get hot cereal or I can get eggs. I know that I will find bananas on the buffet. I know that I will find cantaloupe and honeydew, GP-friendly, low FODMAP fruits that I can enjoy in between meals. I know that at dinner every night I can get a grilled chicken breast with a plain baked potato and roasted carrots if there's nothing else on the menu that I feel is GP friendly or that I feel like experimenting with. So I know all of that, okay? And that makes me feel a little more comfortable with what I'm bringing and knowing how my meal plans will work out for the week. If I were going somewhere where I didn't know, I would do a little bit of research. Say I was just going to Florida and we were going to stay in a hotel. I would see what's going to be available to me at the hotel. I would see what kind of restaurants are in walking distance or close proximity that we may be able to go to. I would look for a grocery store. I would see if there's a health food store. I would see if maybe there's a smoothie bar or a juice bar. So I would really do my research and see what's going to be available to me so that I can plan around that. And so that's what I've done for my trip, and that's what I recommend that you do for your trip. So in addition to your food, you really want to try to stick to as many other areas of your management plan as you can while you're on vacation. That's going to make it the most likely that you'll be able to manage your symptoms and have a good time. So for me, physical activity is a big, big part of my management plan, which means bringing my gym shoes, bringing my gym clothes. I will be getting in a lot of walking. Walking is actually a really great thing to do on vacation anyway because you can explore, you can enjoy the nice weather. So lots and lots of walking. And when I travel for more than a few days, I also usually bring my yoga mat. Yoga is a really great part of my management plan because it's physical activity, but it's also stress reduction, it's breathing, it's evoking that relaxation response that puts our digestive system back in balance. Now, as much as I try to stick to my management plan, I'm likely to have symptoms throughout the course of the week. So that means that I have to bring a wide variety of symptom management remedies and tools. So for me, that means Zofran. So always bring your prescription medication, even if it's just kind of an emergency medication. I don't take Zofran very regularly at all in my day-to-day life. It's very rare that I have to take it now that I have a really good comprehensive management plan and the gastric neurostimulator. But there are times when the nausea ramps up and I do need the medication. So I make sure to have that with me just in case. So I'll be bringing my Zofran, also other things that I use to manage nausea. So for me, that means ginger tea. That all you need is hot water, so that's really good for travel. You can get hot water pretty much anywhere. Also ginger chews, again, perfect to have on hand while you're traveling. Don't kid yourself though, these are candy, okay? They're basically a lot of sugar and ginger. So, if you can and if it works for you and if it's convenient, the tea is a better option. But I do always have these while I'm traveling and while I'm out and about. I will have them with me in my in Lily's diaper bag because that's what I always have with me. So I'll have them with me all the time on the boat just in case. Takes a little edge off if you get that queasy feeling. Similarly, Nausine. Okay, I don't know if you guys have seen these, but I think I talk about them in a few of my other videos. These are usually found in the children's aisle of the drugstore, children's medicine aisle of the grocery store. They're chewable, and they just, again, kind of help to take the edge off of that nausea. If you're extremely nauseous, like you can't lift your head off the pillow, those aren't going to work for you. But if you're feeling a little queasy, it's great to have some Nausine in your pocket, and you can just try those. Speaking of feeling a little queasy, I have noticed, and I have heard from a lot of my clients and my group members, that I get more motion sickness now than I did before I had gastroparesis. I used to do really well with flying and driving and those kinds of things, but now with the gastroparesis, I seem to get more motion sickness more often, and certainly I feel sick more easily. So I will be wearing these Psy bands. You may have heard of C-bands. These are similar. They're called Psy bands, PSI, and I actually like them a little bit better because the strap is adjustable, okay, unlike the C-bands, and when you have them on, they just kind of look like a watch strap. So if you guys know the C-bands, they're like, they look kind of like sweatbands, like you're sweating to the oldies. So these are a little more discreet, and what I really like about them is that the acupressure ball here is a little bit bigger. So I think it's a little bit easier to place this in the correct position. And the correct position is 3 fingers down between the 2 tendons on your wrist. And so I will wear these, one on each wrist, pretty much all the time. While we are on the plane, while we're on the boat, especially when I'm working out, okay, because the motion and then the walking can provoke motion sickness. So these are a really good tool. I think they're $15, but I got them on sale for $7, so look for that. Okay, also queasies. I have talked about this a lot in other videos and in my blog. I believe it's in the book. This is an aromatherapy inhaler. You just breathe it in, and I actually first heard about this right after my gastric stimulator surgery at the Mayo Clinic. I was extremely nauseous from the anesthesia, and the nurse brought me one of these. So I always have this in my purse, and it's really good, especially for plane rides. Like when you're descending, you can just breathe in and out with this under your nose, and it helps to calm that nausea. So that's what I have to manage nausea. I use a heating pad sometimes for abdominal pain. It's a little bit difficult to bring a heating pad on vacation because you don't always have an outlet handy, or the one I use is actually microwavable. It's a clay pack and you put it in the microwave, and I'm not going to have a microwave available to me. So I use these Thermacare heat wraps, okay? And I put them around my belly if I need to, if I'm having pain. And, you know, it's not exactly the same, but it works pretty well in a pinch, and they're good to have for travel. So I recommend you get a couple of those if you use a heating pad at home. So the point is to bring whatever symptom remedies that you have at home, that you use at home, whether you use them all the time or infrequently, bring those with you so that you have them on hand. There's nothing worse than feeling terrible and not having what you need to manage or minimize those symptoms. The other thing to bring with you is any and all supplements that you take, okay? Going on vacation is not the time to disrupt your supplement, your routine. You're gonna need that nutrition. So I bring my multivitamin, my magnesium, and I even bring blackstrap molasses because it's so good for iron and for magnesium and for other minerals. And again, all you need is hot water. So I usually just get a new bottle for vacation so it doesn't leak, and it's a plastic bottle, this one is, so I don't have to worry about it breaking, and I bring that with me as well. So don't disrupt your supplement routine, bring everything with you, keep things as much the same while you're away as you would at home, okay? That's gonna give you the most consistency in terms of your symptom management. Another important thing to consider while you're traveling is hydration, okay? Getting dehydrated is horrible for gastroparesis management. It can really exacerbate nausea, it can exacerbate vomiting, it can also give you a headache, and it's easy to get dehydrated while you're traveling. So I bring my Life Factory glass bottle with me and just make sure to fill it with water, and I drink it all day long. You really, really want to try in your everyday life, but especially while you're traveling to stay well hydrated. And if you do get dehydrated, whether from vomiting or from, just an inability to take in enough fluids, you want to remedy that as soon as possible so that you don't set yourself into that cycle of symptoms causing dehydration, then exacerbating symptoms, which cause you to become more dehydrated. I always bring with me Pedialyte sticks, and I don't have them to show you, but it's Pedialyte, and they come in individual little packages. They look like sticks, and you dump those into a bottle of water. Usually I don't like Pedialyte, okay? It's got artificial sweeteners, artificial flavors, artificial colors. I would never give it to my child. But in cases with traveling, it's really handy to have on hand. And it works really well if you do start to get dehydrated to rebalance your electrolytes and kind of get you out of that cycle. You can also find, I have not been able to find them myself, but I have seen them online, individual packets of dehydrated coconut water. Coconut water is really, really good to rehydrate you as well. It's actually closer to our own balance of electrolytes than those other sports drinks and Pedialyte and things like that. So if you can find those, they're little packets of dehydrated coconut water that you just dump in with a bottle of water and mix up. Those can be really helpful for hydration as well. But the key here is to prevent it in the first place. So I have my Glass Life Factory water bottle. I will have it with me throughout my trip, always full of water, always sipping on it. For those of you who may be nervous about traveling with a gastric neurostimulator, there's really nothing to worry about. It's not difficult. It's not really even a big deal. So you have your card here from Medtronic, and you just show this at the security checkpoint. So when you get through the airport where you show your boarding pass and your ID, I always just show my card and say, I have a gastric pacemaker. I call it a pacemaker because they don't know what the heck a neurostimulator is. So even though we know that it's not technically a pacemaker, I say I have a gastric pacemaker and I can't go through the machine. Sometimes they will give you the option to go through the newer machines or to have a pat down. I just always ask for a pat down. It's the safest way to go. So usually they'll tell you to go put your things through the machine and tell the person at the x-ray machine again that you have a pacemaker and you can't go through. I always hang on to my card and I just say it again once I get up there. They'll bring you aside, and if you're a woman, they will get a female TSA agent to come and give you a pat down and do the security screening that way. You can ask to do it in private if you'd like. They can take you into a private room or behind a curtain to do it. I've always just done it right out there in the open, and it's not really a big deal. I mean, they just really pat you down from head to toe, and then you're done. That's all you have to do. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer if you're at a busy airport, especially if there aren't a lot of female TSA agents there. You might have to wait for a woman to come over, which can take a little while. So plan a little bit extra time when you're thinking about getting to the airport, but it's not a big deal. I've never had a problem at an airport. The only place I've ever had a problem was at the US Capitol building. But other than that, every airport has been just fine, never had an issue. Just make sure you have your card. Most of the time they won't even ask to see it, but if you have it, this proves that you do have an implanted medical device. So those are just some ideas about the things that I pack. That's what I think about when I'm going on vacation, when I'm planning a vacation. I hope it's helpful for you. My biggest piece of advice is to really try to make it as stress-free as possible. And the way to do that is to really have all your ducks in a row before you go. Have everything that you may need if symptoms come up. Have a general plan for how your days will go in terms of eating and sticking to your management plan. Don't freak out, right, if things get off track a little bit, but do try to stick to your regular routine as much as possible. And really try to keep that stress level down. If that means giving yourself extra travel time, if that means planning your travel time so that it's your least symptomatic time of the day. If you need an extra day for travel so that you have a little time to rest and recover before the vacation really kicks off, do whatever you have to do to keep that stress level as low as possible, because we know that stress really impairs our ability to digest and absorb our food. It really affects the way our digestive system works. So you don't want to put yourself at a deficit before you even get on vacation in terms of your symptoms and being able to manage them. So plan, prepare, try to have everything set so that when you get there, you can really just kind of go with it, have fun, enjoy yourself, relax, that's what I'm planning to do. And I will be recording some more tips for you guys as I actually go through my vacation. So for now, that's all. Hey guys, it's Crystal and it's travel day. So one quick tip for you, on travel day, make sure that you start with a nutrient-rich mini meal, juice, smoothie, snack, something that's really going to give you some good nutrition. Because when you're traveling, it's hard to really get those nutrient-rich, well-balanced meals. For instance, for the rest of the day, while we're flying to Florida, I'm probably going to be eating a lot of macro bars. So I'm starting off with a green juice smoothie. And so I juiced spinach, cucumbers, and just a couple of red grapes. And I mixed those with half a banana and a whole bunch of water. And I will sip this all the way to the airport. And so that way I can start off the day with some really good nutrition. When you're on vacation, it's really easy to overdo it and push yourself beyond your limitations. In order to manage your symptoms, keep your stress level low, you really have to respect those limitations and make an effort to not push yourself too hard. Don't plan so many things that you're exhausted or that you can't eat properly or that you can't do the other things on your management plan. Continue to put your management plan first so that you can have a good time. Let your travel companions know that your limitations and your priorities might be different this time than they are in the past, but that will allow you to have the best time and feel the best possible while you're on vacation. Another important thing to remember when you're on vacation is not to skimp on sleep. Sleep is a really important part of a comprehensive gastroparesis management plan, and you're more likely to notice an increase in symptoms the day after you have a sleepless night. So try to stick to your normal bedtime routine, try to get the same amount of sleep as you normally would at home, and you're more likely to have a successful vacation and to feel better overall. If you'll be eating out while you're on vacation, and most people will, make sure you don't skip meals and show up really hungry to the restaurant. You may think that's a better idea so that you're less likely to have symptoms and you're less full, but what will usually happen is that you'll be starving, and so you'll overeat something that is GP friendly, or you may order things that aren't GP friendly just because you're so hungry and you're frustrated. And if the meal shows up and it's not what you expected, you're more likely to have issues. So have a small, GP-friendly, well-balanced snack an hour or two before you go, and you're less likely to run into problems while eating out while traveling. Hey guys, it's Crystal and a little special guest, and we have another tip for you. When you're on vacation, try not to stray too much from your regular eating schedule, especially dinner. Try not to eat dinner too late and too close to bedtime, because that'll increase the likelihood that you'll have symptoms during the night and especially the next morning. So let your travel companions know what time you usually eat and try to stick to that schedule as much as possible. Hey guys, here's another quick tip. If you have to dress up while you're on vacation, try to choose a dress that has an empire waist. That way, if you're not feeling well, if you're bloated, if you're constipated, you don't have to feel self-conscious about your stomach showing through your fancy clothes. It's also a lot more comfortable that way, and you won't have something pushing on your stomach. Hey guys, here's another tip for while you're traveling or when you're out and about. If you don't see something that suits your dietary tolerances or your needs on the menu, always ask. Just explain that you have a medical condition and you have special dietary needs and see what they can do for you. For example, on the boat here, I had this smoothie made for me. It's bananas and honeydew and cantaloupe, just like I would make at home, even though it's not on the menu. So part of being your own advocate is asking for what you need. You'll never know what you'll be able to get unless you ask. So those are my tips for a GP-friendly vacation. I hope that they're helpful, and I hope that they give you a little more confidence to start thinking about traveling or to feel more at ease with the vacations that you may already have planned. You can travel with gastroparesis. You can travel well with gastroparesis, manage your symptoms, and have a great time.